Yep, I'm setting up another one. So I've done the slot in there. I've done 5 litres of poly, and we're going to mix it off with 5 litres of perlite, and then I'm going to put some charcoal on, but I'm probably going to have to crush some charcoal with the car. I think that might be an interesting clip, as long as I don't bust a tyre, because otherwise it will put paid to our swamp hunting trips. So yeah, anyway, so going to do things slightly differently. I've got these ones and I've taken the roll and I cut it so they're slightly under the lip, but I don't think you're going to have to do that, because what with the little bends on the ends there sort of thing, you just cut it to the thing and it'll go down slightly below the level. So instead of putting these things in the bottom, I'm actually going to put these in first, probably, so the sponge can hold them in. And they're going to do 5 of these basically, so maybe it'd be better to put it round near the spout like that. Okay, so another one in there, another one over there, opposite this, and one over here, sort of thing. We'll get it in as best we can, sort of thing, and we'll see how we go. Now we're going to get our sponge here and rip it open as we normally do. And so basically, there we go, fellas. I don't know how close we can get in or what we can film. Okay, now I'm going to try and put the sponge in carefully without scrunching down the aluminium or tin foil too much. There we go. I think we've basically got it in. Now the idea is to take this and mix it off with the 5 litres of perlite. So I'll just get my scissors or my knife. Get the old trusty rusty scissors, and see, I better show you this, because, well, you're going to see it anyway, aren't you? You're going to see that sort of size. Now hopefully we're still in shot. Yeah, still in shot. Slightly over there. I'm going to pull this in. Now I'm going to fill it all the way up, because it's going to go down, I think. I could be wrong, and that will give us enough to put the charcoal in. But what I'm thinking of doing with the charcoal slightly differently is putting the charcoal on, but also putting big chunks around the side, so it sort of goes up as a slope, so we get more leaching out of the charcoal. So yeah. Well, the news of the moment is the old Dumplings Muck Larson has had a bit of pushback on the old Facebook. Yeah, it's a 5 litre thing. I think Theodore Bender put up some image or something saying, Nepenthes Attenborough country or something, and who's that one, I think. Okay, and I said, the largest Nepenthes in the world, bigger than Raja, or the old Dumplings Muck Larson is a liar, sort of thing. And the pushback was amazing. Reams and reams and reams of images pushing back on this thing. Nothing to do with the Nepenthes Attenborough, all with Tapui stuff, sort of thing, So I thought, guilty as sin. I thought, most people would challenge that, the validity of your statement, or put up images of Well, here's images of my first trip. My first trip I went there, they were that size, and that's why I was amazed. But no, just reams and reams, trying to push it down Facebook so the public doesn't get to see it, sort of thing. I think that's what it is. So yeah, as I was thinking to myself, yeah, guilty as sin, sort of thing. Yeah, thinks he's running away from the past, but actually he's running away from the future, and the CP future is going to catch up to him and nab him. I may want to wet this down actually, make it easier to mix, if we can. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I suppose you got to learn sometime, haven't you? Well, I think the old Dumplings Muck Larson is going to have to learn sometime. You know. So what was the thing? Was he using that excuse to get financing for Treasure Islands or something? And when eventually he's going to find out, and he's going to say, "Well, it's Treasure Island. It's all fiction. Didn't you know Treasure Island was all fictional?" Is that what it was going to be? Was that going to be the comeback eventually, you know? I think we've had enough of that, though, yeah. The most pristine archipelago on the planet. Oh, shit, there's a fucking rusty piece of iron there. How the fuck did that get it? Did that fall off the Mir space station? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's not natural. That fell off the Mir. That fell off the Mir space station years ago. I think some of those things in there were a bit of a setup. But, yeah, you can't do that. You can't go on like that. You know, you can't base your career on a bloody lie. You know, the poor old bloke, you know. I mean, this happened about 10 years ago, didn't it? So, wasn't that the time when they're getting together to do the old magnum opus? I wondered, is it actually his own idea? Or did he get the old idea from the old Flowery, you know? You know, because I think Flowery used to be involved with Nepenthes in the past. Made a few trips. Maybe he knew of some place up there. Said, "Oh, you know, this one would do. Spectacular." But by the time they find out it's a tiddly pop plant and can't grow to gigantic size, you would have made your dough and changing your career path. Apparently, he's supposed to be into Sarah Senior. I suspect he's a bit like the Flowery. No one's ever seen his greenhouse. I mean, I would like to see shots of a giant greenhouse out the back of his house, all set up with sprinklers, so when he goes on all these Tupui trips and stuff like that, it's all maintained for him. Then I would believe, you know. I say, well, there you go. He only specialises in Sarah Senior. Fair enough. He doesn't do pings. He doesn't do sundew. He doesn't even do Nepenthes or something, you know. Yeah, or is he a bit like the Flowery, you know? Probably never had a greenhouse in his life, and probably never grows the plants. Doesn't have any at home. It's all a money-making venture at other people's expense, at other people's dreams, I think. So, yeah, maybe that's what it's really all about. It's got nothing to do, you know. He just goes out to these sites. It's all a gallivant around the world. You know, I would like to see a massive greenhouse. I mean, surely he's got a dosh to have a massive greenhouse out the back. He's got the dosh to buy all just the general hybrids or something like that, you know. What's going on, you know? Swans around with bags of money apparently, but it's all, you know, South American money, and I think they're making use of the crash as well, you know. Oh, you know, you can't really say no now because you're so poor and desperate for money that, you know, we want to dig plants out of the wild or something. Here's a bag of cash. Thank you, Mother Nature. I don't know if that's what it is, but yeah, it doesn't. Oh wow, this is different. Getting a nice slight wall. It's a different feel, fellas. Yeah, 50-50. I think this is the way to go. It's a different. It's going to be interesting, fellas. Whatever you want to call it, it's going to be very interesting. So, yeah. I think the idea of wetting it up is a little bit on the money sort of thing. But we'll see how we go, and then I'll put it into the bucket, and then we'll get there fairly quickly, I think. Yeah, I think 50-50 seems like, yeah, I think it's going to be it's basically, you're just energising in a way, the perlite, I think, and then the organism is going to go right through the perlite, I think. So this is basically what it is. I better explain it to you. what you want to do is take the limit in your mind on charcoal. What is charcoal? And if you keep burning it, where does it go? It becomes ash, of course. Because I keep putting it out there, what is ash and why is it so alkaline? And no one comes back with the answer. I don't think anyone's really done the work. I mean, if you did the work, and you know, ash has some amazing properties, you know, because of what it is chemically. I mean, they never told me these sort of properties at, you know, high school and things like that, and it has some really amazing properties, which I'll have to demonstrate one day, probably at the international conference or something like that. But once this takes off, I mean, you were right, fellas, with your perlite, but that's the reason you had all your nice, colourful but stunted plants, because you didn't have the gas generation which comes off and you didn't know that it probably gets poisoned by H2S, and you need the bloody aluminium there to you know, fire up those chatelays and have push back on the poly and take away any H2S that can poison the, in quotes, catalyst. You know, it's acting like a water splitting catalyst, and yeah. So this is basically a very simple system that's going to grow your plants very, very easily, and this is basically the CP revolution, basically. And if you want to increase it, what you can do is add a very small amount of molybdenum, which takes the place of basically phosphorus, I would say, somewhere between phosphorus and borate, and it allows the organism to go right down to the bottom of the pot, I would suggest. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm not sure. And I just had to get the old